Hello guys, welcome to today's tutorial, and in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to create a 3-tier VPC with a public and private subnet. And in the reference architecture below, we are going to create our VPC in the US East 1 region, and we are going to have two availability zones for high availability, in which we are going to create our first resources in availability zone 1A and the other in availability zone 1B. And our demo VPC is going to have IPv4 CIDR to be 10.0.0.0/16, and we are going to have our public subnet, web server subnet, and database subnet to have the following IPv4s in the reference architecture. And for this tutorial, we are going to need, for the resources needed, we are going to have a VPC, an internet gateway, and route table. So for this, without taking much of our time, let's dive into the video and create VPCs. So we are already on AWS management console. So to start our tutorial, the first thing we are going to do is to create our VPC. So at this, in the search button over here, we type VPC, and it's going to load and bring VPC. So we double click on VPC. So we're going to create our VPC, and it's going to take us to our VPC dashboard. On our VPC dashboard, we're going to see the create VPC button, and we are going to click on the create VPC. And for the sake of this video, we are not going to use VPC and more, and we are going to use VPC only. And the reason why we are using VPC only is to be able to have a better understanding on how to do it. So, and for the name tag we are going to use for VPC, we put demo VPC. We'll scroll down, and the IPv4 CIDR for our VPC, we remember, let's go back to our reference architecture. We said the IPv4 CIDR for our demo VPC is 10.0.0.0.0/16. So we'll go back to our management console and type in the IPv4 CIDR, which is 10.0.0.0/16. And we'll scroll down and we'll create our VPC. After creating the VPC, which you can see you successfully created the VPC, the thing we are going to do is to enable DNS host names on our VPC. So on the right hand side, you are going to see actions. We click on the drop down menu and we click edit VPC setting, and we will scroll down and we enable DNS host name. We save. And since we've enabled DNS host name on our VPC, the next thing we're going to do after creating our demo VPC is to create our internet gateway. So we are going to give our VPC access to the internet. So we'll click internet gateway. And in this place, we already have a demo VPC created, but for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to create another one. We're going to create one which is create, or we're going to come to this page. I'm going to type demo IG, which stands for demo internet gateway. We'll click on create internet gateway, and you can see our internet gateway has been created. But if you see the state in this, it shows detached. So for this, we need to attach it to a VPC for it to be active. So you can see the following internet gateway was created. You can now attach to a VPC to enable VPC to communicate with the internet. So we click on the attach to VPC, and on this dashboard, we are going to see the available VPCs we can attach our internet gateway to, and we click on this and we select our demo VPC, attach internet gateway. So our internet gateway has been successfully attached to our VPC, which means our VPC can now communicate with the internet. So the next thing we are going to do is to create our public subnet in our availability zones. So we'll go to subnet and we are going to filter with the demo VPC we created. So we'll click on demo VPC and you can see we have no subnet created for our demo VPC, and on the right hand side you can see the create subnet button. We'll click on it, and on this you can see we have VPC. So we are going to choose the VPC we want to create our subnet in, and you can see we really have the demo VPC. So we click on the demo VPC, and you can see in this way it is asking for our subnet name. And for the sake, and if you go back to our reference architecture, you have the public subnet with this side IPv4 CIDR block, and the second one to be public subnet, which is in 1B, and it has this IPv4 CIDR block, which is 10.0.1.0. So we are going to create this first. We'll go back to our management console. We type public subnet EZ1, and for our availability zone we're going to put it in US East 1A, and our IPv4 CIDR block will be 10.0.0.0/24. We scroll down and we'll create subnets. We've created our first public subnet. We'll go to the create button. We'll create our public subnet EZ2 as well. We choose the VPC we want to create our subnet, which is the demo VPC. We scroll down, we'll put the name, which will be public subnet EZ2. We choose the availability zone, which will be in US East 1B, and we put the IPv4 CIDR block to be 10.0.1.0/24, which is what we have in our reference architecture. We scroll down, we'll create this subnet. You can see we've successfully created our public subnet, which is in US East 1A and US East 1B. Since we've created our public subnet, the next thing we're going to do is to enable auto assign IPv4 address. So we click on the first public subnet, we'll go to actions and we edit subnet settings, and we scroll down, we'll assign IPv4 and we'll save. So the next thing we're going to do is we do the same for the second public subnet. We come here, we edit subnet settings, and we'll do this, and we save. So since we've done that for the next thing we're going to do is we want to allow internet access into our public subnet. So to do that, we'll go to our route tables. We create route table. For this we're going to put public, or the name will be public route table. We are going to choose the VPC we want to create in, which will be our demo VPC, and we'll create route table. With this creating route table, we need to allow internet access on our route table. So we'll do that by going to edit routes, and we add routes from anywhere, which is this, and we'll use the internet gateway to route it, which is the internet gateway we create, which is the demo IGW, and we'll click save changes. And so to allow internet access on our public subnets, we click on subnet association, and we attach our subnet to this route table we created. So we do that by clicking on edit subnet association, and we add this public subnet AZ1 and public subnet AZ2. We save association, and by doing this, it means our public subnet AZ1 and public subnet AZ2 can now access the internet. So by doing this, if you have any resources created in this public subnet AZ1 or public subnet AZ2, you can have access to the internet. So the next thing we are going to do, which is on our reference architecture, is to create our private subnet, which is the web server subnet AZ1 and web server subnet AZ1 in this first availability zone, and this web server subnet AZ2 and web database subnet AZ2 in this availability zone. I can see the IPv4 CIDR block for each and every subnet. So we are going to create that. So let's go back to our VPC management console. So we'll go back to our subnet. So we'll create subnet again. Go back to create subnet. We are going to choose our VPC one to create our private subnet. So we'll click on VPC. And we'll come to this. We'll type the first name, which is web server subnet AZ1. And we are going to create the first one in US is to 1A, and for the CIDR block IPv4 CIDR block, it is 10.0.0.2.0/24, and we create subnet. So we'll do that by creating the second web server subnet. We choose the VPC one to create in it, which is demo VPC. We scroll down, we'll put the name, which is web server subnet AZ2. We're going to have this in the US is to 1B, and we're going to add our IPv4 CIDR block, which is 10.0.3.0/24. We are good to go, and we'll create subnet. Our web server AZ2 has been successfully created, so we'll create the third one, which is the database. We'll choose our VPC. We'll scroll down the name of our subnet, which is database subnet AZ1. We choose the availability zone, which will be in US East 1A, and we are going to add our IPv4 CIDR block, which is 10.0.0.4.0/24, and we'll create subnet. So we'll do that by creating the last one, which is the VPC. We come and we add database subnet AZ2. AZ2. We choose the availability zone, which will be in US East 1B. And we add our IPv4 CIDR block, which is 10.0.5.0/24. Hit subnet. And we've successfully created all our public and private subnet. And earlier in the video, we created our route table, which is the public route table, and we attach our public route table to it. And for this database, it is attached to the default route table in our AWS account. So any database, any subnet you create, it is automatically attached to the default route table, which means any subnet that is attached to the default route table, it's automatically private. So, and we can confirm by checking, going back to the route tables, and we'll click on which, this is the default route table, and we'll click on it. We'll go to subnet association. We can check, we see this on the explicit subnet association, we don't have any subnet attached to it. But if we check this, which is the implicit, it means we have the database subnet AZ1, web server subnet AZ1, database subnet AZ1, web server subnet AZ1. And if you could check our reference architecture, that's what we meant, like public route table, and this is the main route table, which is the default one. So with this we've completed today's tutorial, and if you have any questions, you can drop into the comment section, and like and subscribe to my channel, so in case you want more videos on cloud computing, how to create resources like this, any other things you want to know about cloud engineering. Thank you very much and have a nice day.